G'day folks, Thunderballs here. Online with Harbinger, we were out doing some salvage with the Wave of Disaster, or whatever it's called. And on the way back, I ran out of fuel. So Harbinger has kindly brought his Starfarer out with some quantum fuel on board, and we're going to give a little bit of a tutorial on how to refuel your ship while we're here. May as well take the opportunity. So, first thing we need to do, obviously, is Harbinger's got his Starfarer in front of me, and I need to come up behind him, target him, and then request docking. Okay, so we now have received permission for docking, and we have the standard port docking UI, similar to in the Hull C when you're needing to dock at a station or something like that. So what I'm going to do next, we'll get up a little bit closer, and then I'll duck across to Harbinger's ship and extend his boom so you can see the UI for that. Okay, so I've just come across over onto the Starfarer here, because what we need to do is we need to extend the fuel nozzle out. Okay, so we're going to go into the... You can also... There is an engineering screen inside the ship near the bridge, so I'll show you that after, but this one also works here. So we go into the refueling screen, and we need to deploy the boom. Okay, so my mouse is jumping around a bit. Okay. Once the boom has been deployed, that will then allow me to dock with the boom. So I'm going to need to try and jump off the ship here with broken legs, so that could be interesting and difficult to do. Nope, it's allowed me to get off quite easily. Okay, so now we're back in my pilot seat, and I need to dock with his nozzle. So, to do that is exactly the same as docking with a Hull C to a station. We just need to line up all the red dots and make them green. So we need to roll a little bit that way. We need to pitch up. Okay, we need to yaw that way. Pitch down a little bit. Okay, we need to drop down a bit on the y-axis. A bit more. There we go, too far. Okay, we need to move across on the x-axis. There we go, and then we'll go back up a bit in the y and move forwards. This should then give us a whole bunch of greenery on our little red and green crosshair that we have there. So we've gotten close enough. So we've got 25 meters to go. Go a little bit to the right. Oops, too far. Here we go. Just about there. Okay, and we have all green lights. We can now do our auto dock. Okay, so we have now completed our docking. We now have Harbinger's screen showing on screen. He will now go into the pod management so that he can open up the fuel pods. He will click on open, so he can either send fuel out or receive fuel in. So he wants to obviously send the fuel out to me. Okay. And before he opens the nozzle, what I need to do is I need to go into my Mobiglass to my vehicle maintenance and services, and I need to request fuel. So I'm going to use my internal tank for the quantum fuel, and I'm going to request that it gets filled completely. On Harbinger's side, if he was to want to charge me for fuel, he can set a rate of UEC for his fuel that he's selling to me. But as he's doing it out of kindness of helping a friend, and also he's getting a cut of all of the construction materials that we have on board the Reclaimer, he's not going to charge me for this. So all I need to do now is confirm my purchase, and then Harbinger will start opening up his nozzle, and he needs to manage the flow rate. Okay, well that's pretty much already filled me up. I wasn't expecting that to go that quickly. Because what you would need to do is manage the fuel rate so that excess fuel is not lost. As you can see, 3 of his tanks have been reduced by about 7 and a bit units. I don't know what the units exactly are, but we'll say 7 and a bit units. And I am now full. If I close my Mobi-Glass, we can now see on my UI that my quantum fuel is now full. I can now request to leave the dock, disengaging docking clamps. Okay, and now I am free to leave the scene. Harbinger is now able to close off his pod management, return to his seat, and be on his merry way. So thank you, Harbinger, for coming out to fill up my quantum. So that is how you do the refueling with the Starfarer, and it's the same process across all ships. You may just have to a slightly different alignment where your fuel intake is, where the nozzle needs to be attached, but for the Reclaimer, that is how you refill your Reclaimer. A nice quick easy tutorial there, although it took us an hour and a half of recording. So I hope you enjoyed that and learnt how to refuel your ships with a friend. And until next time, Thunder out. Hey folks, Thunder here. I'd just like to thank everybody for your support with my channel. It is very much appreciated, and it has now come to the time where I can start throwing out some shout outs. I now have my first Patreon subscriber, Harbinger. Thank you very much for subscribing over on Patreon. Your additional support is very much appreciated, so thank you very much, Harbinger. If anybody else feels that you would like to add in a little bit of extra support for me to help me continue this channel and bring more content to you, if you would like to head over to Patreon and become a subscriber over there, it would be extremely appreciated. Any and all support is always appreciated, and I just wanted to throw that out there now that I'm starting to receive Patreon subscribers. So once again, thank you, Harbinger, and anybody else that becomes a shout-out supporter over on Patreon will also be mentioned at the end of every video from now on. So thank you very much, everybody. Until next time, Thunder out.